beer cans and fussing over the need to wipe pee off the seat because men rarely raise it, and of course, nosy in-laws. And see if 10 years from now you'll appreciate that shit. Wake up and smell the Folgers. You won't. With that said, who can blame me for taking matters into my own hands by looking for someone else to ring my bell before I signed up to be Mrs. So-and-so? Men do it all of the time. They started it. Flip the script, and they have the nerve to get an attitude. Whatever. Why should women be ashamed to admit that we want to have the big O and someone to make our toes curl? I've learned about all these things through struggling to love the man in my life. Trey, I wanted everything with you. I swear I wasn't playing games when I accepted the engagement ring. At least, not intentionally. You can't imagine what it's like to be a 30-something woman who wants to be married and have a family in an age where straight, available, commitment-minded, sane-acting black men who don't want to date white, Asian, or Spanish sisters are rumored to be an endangered species. I just couldn't stomach throwing myself back to the few wolves in the pack. Although, there were many issues I was dissatisfied with, including your lack of desire to get your wee-wee up enough. When you did bother to give me some affection, you'd watch TV while I was getting it. So what if you're fascinated by sharks? If you're making love to me, Flipper shouldn't come first. When you turned your head to look over your shoulder, that was the final clue that our sex life was finito, even before we got married. I say don't do it partially, do it all the way, all night long, or at least until my hair is sweated out. After all, I threw no marriage hints your way. I figured that if I turned it down, I may have been forfeiting my one and only shot to walk down the aisle before my biological clock stopped ticking. My heart longed to experience solidarity with a brother who was all fucking mine. No more man-sharing and no more dating disasters. I had the power to get off the train, and pulling into the station gave me joy. To me, the thought of all these things was a much-needed relief. I had a career, my own home, and a set routine that made sense. But my heart was thirsty, and I needed a tall glass of water. Never did I realize that I was assigning you to be my ticket out of being caught up in a stinking mix. In reality, being a savior in my hour of darkness wasn't your responsibility. I never should have submitted to the fantasy by settling for someone I knew wasn't my cup of tea. That's what you were, Trey, a fantasy that looked attractive. While you were appearing to become more conservative, I started taking my engagement ring off, wearing tight booty shorts, and flirting with men. Your golden lady was hitting her sexual peak, becoming more daring and adventurous, running the streets to get banged while getting my hair pulled until the early morning. You were the one who backed me up against the wall by not letting me be a freak with you and only you. I knew you wanted a conservative woman, so that's what I tried to be, to fit into your life. But I just couldn't keep up the act. After the first time I got comfortable, fondling a strange dick and swallowing nut, I found out that I preferred being a freak who stayed on her hands and knees. Before I write some 3-page letter about someone else, I suppose I should address my individual issues with the person I've never really liked, me. I admit that the struggle is somehow related to baggage I drag around. I don't know who is to blame. My parents, my sister, the culture, pressure of trying to be successful, fate. Maybe if I vent on paper, living with myself will be a little bit easier. After all, I have to take it here because I'm tired of playing the role of what I appear to be. A quiet, mannerly, reserved, and high-browed conservative woman who rarely even smiles. I have the game of owning 2 opposite personalities down pat. In fact, few would ever guess what kind of woman was hidden behind the trips to church, neatly done tight bun, makeup-free face, skirts down to my knees, blouses that covered everything, including my collarbone, and schoolteacher-like glasses. I wasn't that conservative woman who volunteered for a nonprofit organization every 3rd weekend in the summer.